Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 14, Ideal Family Life, and text number 30 to 33, but I'm just going to read the first line, the first two lines. Saramsi Pushkaradini Kshetran Yarha Shritani Yuta Kurukshetram Gaya Shira Prayaga Pulaha Shramaha. The rest of the verse is names of all the different rivers and things. So I'll just read the translation. The sacred lakes like Pushkara and places where saintly persons live, like Kurukshetra, Gaya, Prayag, Pula Ashrama, Naimisharanya, the banks of the Palgu River, Setubandha, Prabhasa, Dwarka, Varanasi, Mathura, Pampa, Bindu Sarovara, Badrik Ashram, Narayanam Ashram, the place where the Nada River flows, the places where Lord Ramachandra and Mother Sita took shelter, such as Chitrakuta, and also the hilly tract of the land known as Mahendra and Malaya. All of these are to be considered most pious and sacred. Similarly, places outside India where there are centers of the Krishna consciousness movement and where Radha Krishna deities are worshipped must all be visited and worshipped by those who want to be spiritually advanced. One who intends to advance in spiritual life may visit all these places and perform ritualistic ceremonies, get the results 1,000 times better than the results of the same activities performed in any other place. Purport. In these verses and in verse 29, stress is given to one point. Harira Archara Shritas Chaye, or Harira Archa. In other words, any place where the deity of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is worshipped by devotees is most significant. The Krishna consciousness movement is giving the population of the entire world a chance to take advantage of Krishna consciousness through the ISKCON centers, where one may perform deity worship and chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and this way obtain results with effectiveness increased 1,000 times. This constitutes the best welfare activity for human society. This was Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission as it was predicted by him in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, Antya Leela 4:126. Pritivite ache yatanagaradi gram sarvatra pachara haibe mora nam. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted the Hare Krishna movement with installed deities to spread to every village and town in the world, so that everyone in the world might take advantage of this movement and become all auspicious in spiritual life. Without spiritual life, nothing is auspicious. Mogaisha moka karmano moka jnana vichetasaha. 9:12. No one can become successful in fruit activities or speculative knowledge without being Krishna conscious. As recommended in the Shastras, everyone should be very eagerly interested in taking part in the Krishna consciousness movement and understanding the value of spiritual life. Mam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutaya Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswatam Deve Gauravani Pacharane Nirvishesha Srinivadi Bhaskatya Desantara. Three of the most important aspects, or the five potent aspects of Krishna consciousness are mentioned. Worshipping the deity, chanting the holy name, and living in a holy place. Any one of these or all of these can elevate one to the spiritual platform of awareness. And when we become spiritually aware, then we become aware of everything as it actually is, and we become transcendently blissful. So this is what's considered to be auspicious. On the other hand, Krishna Bhagavad Gita says, Abhijananti mamudha manushim tanum ashritya param bhavam ajanato mama bhuta maheshwaram. That the fools, they deride at my descending in this human-like form. They do not know my transcendental nature, nor my supreme dominion over all that be. In other words, when Krishna appears, he appears like an ordinary person. And even his associates, Nanda Maharaj, Mother Jasoda, the gopis, the cowherd boys, Vrindavan, they also appear to a mundaner, to be mundane. But actually they're all transcendental. Krishna says he's controlling the planets, Gam Avisha Jabhutani, Daryaham Aham Ojasa, Pushnami Chotati Sarva, Samoba Budva Rasatnikaha. That he enters into the planets, and by his potency, by his energies, they're staying in their orbit. Now, a materialist, they've been trained in what's called the chance theory. Everything came about by chance. Everything came about by chance, except for their getting their PhD, where they're declaring everything came about by chance. To get their PhD, their doctorate, they had to work very hard. Nothing happened by chance when they got the PhD. But the whole rest of the universe just came about by chance. If they want to get rich, they don't stay at home, and by chance they may become rich. They endeavor with all their intelligence to try to become rich. If they wanted to build a model of the universe, it wouldn't come about by chance. They'd have to make some endeavor. One time, Sir Isaac Newton had built a model of the universe, and you could actually move the planets, little knob, you can move the planets in their orbits. So his friend came into the laboratory, into his office, and asked him, who has built this wonderful model of this universe? So Isaac Newton said, I don't know, I just walked in here. And suddenly from underneath the table, there was this bang, and this appeared on top of the table. Oh, come on, someone must have made this. No, I'm telling you, it's fact. I walked in here, and underneath the table, I heard this bang, and suddenly this model came. Come on, you must be, maybe you drink. Why are you doubting? According to you, the whole universe came about like that. So why couldn't one little model of the universe come about like that? So no one actually believes in the theory of by chance. No one is waiting for chance to happen. No one's staying in the ashram here, hoping by chance that some university is going to give them a PhD degree. Just like they have the Big Bang Construction Company. So we want to remodel the temple here. We call it the Big Bang Reconstruction Temple. And they come with dynamite. And they line the whole temple room here with dynamite and explode it. Because we take the deities out first, because we don't believe in chance. And then the whole thing collapses. Just some bricks and the walls collapse, the ceilings collapse. And we say, what did you do? Well, we got to be patient. They bring in more dynamite. And explode it again. And then again, and again. And hardly there's anything left. And you say, what are you doing? Well, come on, have faith. If the whole universe came about like this, why don't you have like this? Why don't you have some faith? This little tiny temple room surely will eventually explode into a perfect room. The problem is that people don't want to acknowledge that there could be a person behind everything, because there's a person behind everything. Then he's so great, we can't compete with him. And if we can't compete with him, then our whole endeavor to become God here has been a waste of time. And if you're going to be in some place for time, since time immemorial, struggling to do something, you find out you just wasted trillions and trillions of lifetimes of Brahma. It's a little disappointing. Therefore, rather than to admit that actually this universe is under the control of a person, both on the planets and down to the atom, they'd rather keep their heads in the sand and say, he's not there, he doesn't exist, it's not possible. Your Krishna's mythology, our Albert Einstein is causing everything. But here it mentions that to be auspicious, we have to get out of this material concept of life, or else we'll just be shrama eva hi kevalam, simply wasting our time, denying God's existence, denying our relationship with God, denying everything that's actually auspicious, and keeping ourselves in the materialistic concept of life, where we are this body, and we got this body by accident. And when we disappear, then we disappear forever. And that's the end of the story. Prabhupada said that the child has a future, he'll become a young man. The young man has a future, he'll become an older man. The older man has a future, he'll become an old man. And ultimately, the old man also has a future. He'll get another body, like the spiritual material. So everyone has a future. The question is, what kind of future we want? And the most auspicious future is to live with Krishna in the spiritual world. So here we're practicing. The deities are there, so we can serve the deities, just like we serve the deities in the spiritual world. We can serve the deity in this age by chanting the holy name, or by living in a spiritual place. Of course, when the deity is there, then the place becomes spiritual. Just like this, before the devotees moved in here, it was just an ordinary building. No one came here and paid obeisances. Matter of fact, as we see on the outside of that statue, people were trying to get out of here at any cost. That was the naked truth. But because we put the deity came here, the Panchatattva came here, therefore now it's become a spiritual place. And because the devotees are worshiping here, the Panchatattva, therefore the Panchatattva are revealing themselves and creating a spiritual atmosphere. Otherwise, in India, sometimes they have many places where they have deities, and because there's no real worship going on, it's just like going to an ordinary place. So everything depends upon consciousness, and that consciousness is possible when we follow the prescribed rules and regulations. Consciousness doesn't come about by chance, it comes by following the process of elevating our consciousness. So Krishna has been so kind. He comes as the deity to help us. He comes as a holy name to help us elevate our consciousness. He advents himself in the literature. Krishna Swadharma Upagate. Dharma Jnana Japisaha. Kalo Nashta Drishameva. Puranarko Dunoditaha. Now that Krishna has left, because he went back to his abode, Krishna Dharma Upagate. He left here and he went back to his own abode. Dharma Jnana Japisaha. And along with him, he took religion and knowledge. Kalo Nashta Drishameva. So now we're in the dark age of Kali, and people have lost their vision. So where do we take shelter? Puranarko Dunodita. So Krishna is left behind Srimad Bhagavatam, so we can take shelter of the Bhagavatam. And through the Bhagavatam, we can understand who the deities are, who the holy name is what the sacred places are, how to spiritualize our lives, etc., etc. So everything is there in the Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam. And if we manifest it, then we'll also wake up. In other words, the whole idea of the Krishna consciousness movement is Jeev Jago, Gora Chandra Bola. Right now we're asleep. Although we foolishly think we're very much awake, but actually we're in deep slumber. We're not even hardly conscious. And what to speak of if one becomes unconscious by taking intoxication. Queen Kunti prays. Well, actually, she says something very. She tells a pastime. Vishan Mahagne Purushara Darshana. She's talking about Krishna. Vishan Mahagne Purushara Darshana. So Bhima was fed poison, Vishan Mahagne, and then they were put into a house of black, and they set it on fire. The Kauravas tried to kill the Pandavas by setting it on fire. Then they escaped from the fire, and it was they met a Rakshasa, and it was time for supper. And they were going to be the supper. They're invited for supper as the meal. But Bhima killed the Rakshasa and married Hindimbi. But that wasn't the end of their problems. It was only beginning. Vishan Mahagne Purushara Darshan. Asabhya, a very vicious assembly. Asabha reached Kaya. So Draupadi was trying to be stripped naked in the assembly of the Kauravas. Vishan Mahagne Purushara Darshana. Asat Asabhaya. Sat means a learned assembly, and Asat means a vicious assembly. Asat Asabhaya. Vana Krishita. And then they lost the bet. Yudhisthira Maharaj gambled away his kingdom, and they were put into the forest for 14 years. Vasana Krishaya. Mride Neka Maharatastra. So, and now, after they've come back, now everyone's trying to kill them with the Brahmastra weapon. Brahmastra weapon, which could wipe out the whole universe. They're throwing it like, peanuts at the Pandavas. I mean, if you're going to be paranoid, we call the Pandavas paranoid. They had a good reason to be paranoid. They spent a whole life people trying to kill them. Dronyastyamastad. And finally, Drona, the son of Drona, Dronastasma, he threw Brahmastras to kill all the Pandavas and also Parikshit Maharaj. Now, finally, Dronacharya, his son, was vanquished, and there wasn't any problems anymore, seemingly. So Queen Kunti said, Vipadak Shanta Takshasrat Tatra Jagat Guru Bhavato Darshanam Yasyat Apuna Bhavadarshan. I wish we can see these calamities again and again. She wasn't thinking, oh my God, finally a vacation. This is, I don't know, I should have looked at an astrology chart before I came out here. This has really been a tough life. No, she said, I wish that we can see these calamities again and again, because by seeing these calamities, we're seeing you again and again. And by seeing you, there'll be no more seeing a repeated birth and death. So then she says, Janmaishvarya Shuta Shivira Edamanak Madak Puman Naivahat Yavadatim Vai Twamakinchana Gochara. That anyone who's puffed up because of their accumulation of high birth, material beauty, material influence, material wealth, they become not only intoxicated, but because they become madak, mad. We're already intoxicated by having a material body, but But if we try to increase our material opulence, if that's what we want to worship, is this body or things in relation to this body, and then expand them, instead of expanding our devotion to Krishna, we want to expand our material existence. If that's what we want to expand, then we're already intoxicated by material existence. But then by trying to expand, by getting more wealth, more influence, more so many things, we become crazy. We become mad, completely insane. And a mad person can't chant the holy name with feeling. And therefore, one has to see repeated birth and death. Therefore, to install the deity, worship the deity, chant the holy name, hear Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, these are actually auspicious. And everything else is just try to expand material existence or survive in material existence is ultimately just a waste of time. No one survives, and no one takes with them what they seemingly have accumulated into their next lifetime. The only thing we take with us is the reaction to our sinful activities. So I'll stop there. Thank you. Any questions, comments?
So this shloka is connected with so this auspicious times is connected with the Shraddha rite, right?
No, they're connected with any kind of auspicious ritual, not just Shraddha. Because now here is describing all the different places. It's not that you perform Shraddha at all these places.
Right.
These are all auspicious places to do devotional activities, especially.
So connected with also activities in devotional service, not only rituals in Karmakanda and that.
No, especially devotional service. That's the ultimate pious activity. Krita punya punya.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande.